Hi guys, I hope that we have been reading Bhagavad Gita together, and I hope you all are satisfied with the um, way I'm reading it and the way I'm reciting Bhagavad Gita with you all. And in the last video, I had asked you a question. I hope to see more responses on that question about the ideas. How can I make the recitation much more interesting, and how can I hold your attention for the whole video so that we can all be on this journey together. So if anybody is new on this page and is listening to this video, please mention any more ideas if you want to, about how can I make this video much more um interesting, so that we can be doing this reading session together, and you are able to watch through the whole video. So we were on page number 14, of the introduction chapter. So we'll be reading out from the second para. We were on the second or the third para of this page, and let's start. So, Vedic knowledge is not imparted by such defective living entities. It was imparted unto the heart of Brahma, the first created living being. I think we have read this. And Brahma, in his turn, disseminated this knowledge to his sons and disciples as he originally received it from the Lord. We have read this, that uh, the Vedic knowledge must be passed on to any living being through disciplic succession. I gave you an example how the sanskars, or how the habits, or how the traditions are passed on from our ancestors to our parents, like how it is passed on from our grandparents' generation to our parents' generation, and then to us. The same way, the Vedic knowledge is to be passed on through that disciplic succession, and through those teachers. If one is like God is the main teacher, or the person who spoke it, he passed it down to Brahma, and then Brahma passed it down to another and another, and then it should come down through those teachers itself. uh, there are many examples given of how we are to utilize those things which are set aside for us by the Lord. This is also explained in Bhagavad Gita. In the beginning, Arjuna decided that he should not fight in the battle of Kurukshetra. This was his own decision. Arjuna told the Lord that it was impossible for him to enjoy the kingdom after killing his own kinsmen. This, this decision was based on the body, because he was thinking that the body was himself, and that his bodily relations or expansions were his brothers, nephews, brothers in law, grandfathers, and so on. Therefore, he wanted to satisfy his bodily demands. Bhagavad Gita was spoken by the Lord just to change this view, and that at the end, Arjun decides to fight under the directions of the Lord when he says, Karishye vachanam tava. I shall act according to your word. Now, someone who doesn't know the backstory of Mahabharata or Arjun, uh, Arjun had to fight with his brothers, because the Kauravas were his brothers, and the Arjun and his four more brothers were the Pandavas. So these were they were like immediate family, like your father's brother and their sons. So they are your cousins. They are your first cousins. So Arjuna had to fight with Kauravas, because the Kauravas' misdeeds or evil actions had passed every limit, and now they had to fight the war, and kill everybody who was in Kauravas' teams, opposing Arjuna and the Pandavas, and opposing Krishna himself. So there were his teachers in the team of Kauravas. There were his grandparents, grandfather. There was his brothers, cousins, and everybody who was related to him like they were family on the other end. And obviously, when we think about it uh, through our like bodily senses and mind, we are really however how much ever angry you are, I don't think you can ever pick up a sword and kill such people who are related to you like that. You would definitely at the end forgive them, that let it be, I'll forget about everything. So the same was happening with Arjun. And when God enlightened him with Bhagavad Gita, that's when he spoke that I shall act according to your word, according to God's word. In this world, men are not meant for quarreling like cats and dogs. Men must be intelligent to realize the importance of human life and refuse to act like ordinary animals. A human being should realize the aim of his life, and this direction is given in all Vedic literatures, and the essence is given in Bhagavad Gita. Vedic literature is meant for human beings, not for animals. Animals can kill other living animals, and there is no question of sin on their part. But if a man kills an animal for the satisfaction of his uncontrolled taste, he must be responsible for breaking the laws of nature. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly explained that there are three kinds of activities according to the different modes of nature: the activities of goodness, the activities of passion, and of ignorance. Similarly, there are three kinds of eatables also: eatables in goodness, passion, and ignorance. All of this is clearly described, and if we properly utilize the instructions of Bhagavad Gita, then our whole life will become purified. And ultimately, we will be able to reach the destination, which is beyond this material sky. Yad gatva na nivartante tad dham paramam mama. That destination is called the Sanatan sky, the eternal spiritual sky. In this material world, we find that everything is temporary. It comes into being, stays for some time, produces some byproducts, dwindles, and then vanishes. Just like us, the humans, animals, plants, everything vanishes. This is the law of material world. Whether we use as an example this body or a piece of fruit or anything. But beyond this temporary world, there is another world of which we have information. That world consists of another nature, which is Sanatan, which is eternal. The Jiva is also described as Sanatan, eternal, and the Lord is also described as Sanatan in the 11th chapter. We have an intimate relationship with the Lord, and because we are all qualitatively one, the Sanatan Dham or sky, the Sanatan Supreme Personality, and the Sanatan living entities, the whole purpose of Bhagavad Gita is to revive our Sanatan occupation or Sanatan Dharma, which is the eternal occupation of the living entity. Okay? People say that, I have mentioned it in another video, that I have a soul. It means that we recognize ourselves with this body and we say we have a soul. But if you think, it's the opposite. We are the soul and we have this body. Understand this. It has a really deep meaning that we don't have a soul. We are the soul. The soul has a body. Means we have a body, but we are generally what? A soul. And that's why our soul is eternal. That is what they are saying, that it is Sanatan. The soul's purpose is Sanatan, and the soul is Sanatan, and so is God and his nature and his spiritual sky. We are temporarily engaged in different activities, but all of these activities can be purified when we give up all these temporary activities and take up the activities which are prescribed by the Supreme Lord. That is called a pure life. The Supreme Lord and his transcendental abode are both Sanatan, as are the living entities, and the combined association of the Supreme Lord and the living entities in the Sanatan abode is the perfection of human life. I shall read it again, I think. The Supreme Lord and his transcendental abode are both Sanatan, as are the living entities. And the combined association of the Supreme Lord and the living entities in the Sanatan abode is the perfection of human life. The Lord is very kind to the living entities because they are his sons. Lord Krishna declares in the Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Yonishu Aham Bija Pradapita. I am the father of all. Of course, there are four types of living entities according to their various karmas, but here the Lord claims that he is the father of all of them. Therefore, the Lord descends to reclaim all of these fallen, conditioned souls, to call them back to the Sanatan eternal sky so that the Sanatan living entities may regain their eternal Sanatan positions in eternal association with the Lord. The Lord comes himself in different incarnations or he sends his confidential servants as sons, or his associates or acharyas to reclaim the conditioned souls. Therefore, Sanatan Dharma does not refer to any sectarian process of religion. It is the eternal function of the eternal living entity in relationship with the eternal Supreme Lord. Sanatan Dharma refers, as stated previously, to the external occupation of the living entity. Shripad Ramanujanacharya has explained the word Sanatan as that which has neither beginning nor end. So, when we speak of Sanatan Dharma, we must take it for granted on the authority of Shripad Ramanujanacharya that it has neither beginning nor end. The English word world religion is a little different from Sanatan Dharma. Religion conveys the idea of faith, and faith may change. One may have faith in a particular process and he may change this faith and adopt another. But Sanatan Dharma refers to that activity which cannot be changed. It is eternal. For instance, liquidity cannot be taken from water, nor can heat be taken from fire. Similarly, the eternal function of the eternal living entity cannot be taken from the living entity. Sanatan Dharma is eternally integral with the living entity. When we speak of Sanatan Dharma, therefore, we must take it for granted on the authority of Shripad Ramanujancharya that it has neither beginning nor end. That which has neither end nor beginning must not be sectarian, for it cannot be limited by any boundaries. Those belonging to some sectarian faith will wrongly consider that Sanatan Dharma is also sectarian. But if we can go deeply into the matter and consider it in the light of modern science, it is possible for us to see that Sanatan Dharma is the business of all people in the world. Nay, of all the living entities of the universe, not just the people of this world, but of the universe. Not non-Sanatan religious faith may have some beginning in the annals of human history, but there is no beginning to the history of Sanatan Dharma because it remains eternally with the living entities. In so far as the living entities are concerned, the authoritative Shastras state that the living entity has neither birth nor death. In the Gita, it is stated that the living entity is neither born and he never dies. We are eternal beings. He is eternal and indestructible, and he continues to live after the destruction of his temporary material body. We are the soul, we have this body which is destructed with time. In reference to the concept of Sanatan Dharma, we must try to understand the concept of religion from the Sanskrit root meaning of the word. Dharma refers to that which is constantly existing with a particular object. We conclude that there is heat and light along with fire. Without heat and light, there is no meaning to the word fire. Similarly, we must discover the essential part of the living being, that part which is his constant companion. That constant companion is his eternal quality, and that eternal quality is his eternal religion. When Sanatan Goswami asked Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu about the swaroop of every living being, the Lord replied that the swaroop or constitutional position of the living being is the rendering of service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If we analyze this statement of Lord Chaitanya's, we can easily see that every living being is constantly engaged in rendering service to another living being. A living being serves other living beings in various capacities. By doing so, the living entity enjoys life. The lower animals serve human beings as servants, serve their master. A serves B, A serves B master, B serves C master, and C serves D master, and so on. Under these circumstances, we can see that one friend serves another friend, the mother serves the son, the wife serves the husband serves the wife, and so on. If we go on searching in this spirit, and it will be seen that there is no exception in the society of living beings to activity of service. The politician presents his manifesto for the public to convince them of his capacity for service. The voters therefore give the politician their valuable votes, thinking that he will render valuable service to society. The shopkeeper serves the customers and the artisan serves the capitalist. The capitalist serves the family and the family serves the state in terms of eternal capacity of the eternal living being. In this way, we can see that no living being is exempt from rendering service to other living beings. And therefore, we can safely conclude that service is the constant companion of living being and that rendering of service is the eternal religion of living being. We are made to serve. That is our eternal religion. Yet, professes to belong to a particular type of faith with reference to a particular time and circumstance, and thus claims to be a Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, or an adherent of any other sect. Such designations are non Sanatan Dharma. A Hindu may change his faith to become a Muslim, or a Muslim may change his faith to become a Hindu, or a Christian may change his faith, and so on. But in all circumstances, the change of religious faith does not affect the eternal occupation of rendering service to others. The Hindu, Muslim, or Christian in all circumstances is a servant of someone. Thus, to profess a particular type of faith is not to profess one's Sanatan Dharma. The rendering of service is Sanatan Dharma. Factually, we are related to the Supreme Lord in service. The Supreme Lord is the supreme enjoyer, and we living entities are his servitors. We are created for his enjoyment, and if we participate in that eternal enjoyment with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we become happy. We cannot become happy otherwise. It is not possible to be happy independently, just as no one part of the body can be happy without cooperating with the stomach. It is not possible for the living entity to be happy without rendering transcendental loving service unto the Supreme Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita, worship of different demigods or rendering service to them is not approved. It is stated in the 7th chapter, 20th verse, Kamas tester hrita jnana prapadyante anya devata tamam tamam niyamam asthaya prakritaya niyatya swaya. Those whose intelligence has been stolen by material desires surrender unto demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own natures. Here it is plainly said that those who are directed by lust worship the demigods and not the Supreme Lord Krishna. When we mention the name Krishna, we do not refer to any sectarian name. Krishna means the highest pleasure, and it is confirmed that the Supreme Lord is a reservoir or storehouse of all pleasures. We are all hankering after pleasure. Anand Mayo Abhyasat. The living entities like the Lord are full of consciousness and they are after happiness. The Lord is perpetually happy, and if the living entities associate with the Lord, cooperate with Him, and take part in His association, then they also become happy. That is all that we will be reading till today. I hope you feel much better after reading this and you feel at peace after listening to Bhagavad Gita and listening to what God has to say to us. And I hope people who have been reading it with me, who have the same Bhagavad Gita, are reading it with me. And please keep on joining me uh, on this journey, and let's explore spirituality together. Let's heal ourselves together on a spiritual level. And please like, share, and comment, and let me know your ideas on how can I improve myself. That's all. Bhagavad Gita in itself is a granth or a text that might be overwhelming even for me, because I I should I have very pure intentions on reciting this and reading this with you all, but it is overwhelming because it is such a sacred text, and I don't want to commit any kind of mistake while doing this or reading this, or even giving a few of my interpretations that I've started giving in the middle of these videos. Uh, Please be open minded, don't depend on what I say, just listen to it and please have pure intentions and please be submissive to God. That is it. Whether it is your own religion, as I told you in the first videos also, doesn't matter that if you are not here to listen to Bhagavad Gita, you can open your own holy scriptures and mute me for some time and recite your own holy scriptures. It is just I am just doing this so that we all can be together to take out some time, a few minutes for God, and purely for God Himself. And that was my main purpose of starting this also. And let's just be happy and explore this journey together and pray to God that He blesses us with devotion. Okay, then see you tomorrow. Bye.